I never thought a simple favor would become the thread that unraveled my marriage, or awaken a hunger inside me I didn't even know had been buried for years. It all began harmlessly, or at least, that's the lie I told myself. But if I'm being brutally honest, somewhere deep down, I think I knew exactly what I was setting in motion the moment I asked my husband's best friend to teach me how to box. What unfolded between us was wrong. Intoxicating. Impossible to erase. My name is Claire. I'm 33, and I've been married to Eric for 8 years. We met in college, married while still young, and built a life that was stable, predictable, even comfortable. But over time something faded. Passion dulled into habit. Love turned into logistics. Eric is a good man. Kind, dependable, never cruel or careless. But the spark, the electricity that once set our skin ablaze, flickered then died. We stopped reaching for each other unless we had a reason. Kisses turned into routines. Our bedroom felt like a silent museum, haunted by echoes of intimacy that once lived there. And then there was Jason. Jason, Eric's childhood best friend. A former Marine with a chiseled frame and a quiet intensity. Now a personal trainer, he had this calm, almost dangerous energy, the kind that made people instinctively respect him. Tude. Self-assured. He never had to prove anything, he just was. He'd been in and out of our lives over the years, but I'd barely paid attention, until he moved back into town and started seeing Eric more regularly. One night, the three of us were relaxing after dinner when Jason casually mentioned he was launching his own gym. Half joking, I said I'd love to feel strong for once, and asked if he'd show me how to box. It felt innocent. Silly comment. Eric encouraged it, thought it'd be great for my fitness, maybe even help reconnect something between us. That night lit the match. Our first session was quiet. Just basic movements, footwork, jabs, stance corrections, tucked into the back corner of his barely finished gym. The air still smelled of fresh paint and sawdust. But what I remember most was how Jason's hands felt on my hips as he gently adjusted my footing. How close he stood. How his eyes locked with mine. Not passively, but like he saw something buried inside me that even I had forgotten was there. The sensation hit me like a jolt. I hadn't felt anything that intense in years. I'd nearly forgotten what it was like to want. Our workouts became routine. Twice a week. Then 3 times. I started wearing more fitted leggings, lower-cut sports bras. Told myself it was about motivation. He never said anything inappropriate. Never touched me in a way he shouldn't. But the tension between us was electric, pulsing in every glance and adjustment. Each time he held up the pads and told me to punch harder, each time his voice dropped into that low register and our eyes lingered a little too long, it was like we were dancing on the edge of something dangerous. And we both knew it. Then came the night the line was crossed. It was a Thursday. We were alone. I just pushed through an intense set, sweat pouring, chest heaving. My tank top clung to every curve. I collapsed onto the bench, laughing breathlessly about how weak I felt. Jason crouched in front of me, handed me a bottle of water and said quietly, "You're stronger than you realize. You just need to let go." I don't know who leaned forward first. Maybe it was me. Maybe I'd been leaning toward him from the very beginning. But in an instant our lips collided. Fierce, ravenous, desperate. It wasn't tender. It wasn't soft. It was a kiss fueled by weeks, maybe years, of pent-up longing. His grip on my waist was firm. Possessive. And I didn't resist. I didn't want to. We didn't sleep together that night, but the barrier had been shattered. From that point on, everything shifted. I told myself I'd stop. That it had been a mistake. But the truth, I couldn't stay away. We kept training. Kept stealing touches. And the late-night texts started innocent. Until they weren't. Until they turned into something else entirely. I began lying to Eric. Said I was stuck at work. Meeting friends. I hated the deception, but not enough to walk away. The first time Jason and I had sex, it wasn't in some dark hotel or secret apartment. It was in the gym, in the shower after a brutal workout. It was rough. Urgent. All-consuming. I remember biting down on my lip to silence my moans, terrified someone might hear, and secretly thrilled by the risk. Jason gave me what Eric hadn't in so long. Fire, dominance, desire. He made me feel alive. And I couldn't get enough of that feeling, or of him. At home I went through the motions. Cooked dinner, watched TV, kissed my husband goodnight. But mentally I was somewhere else. In that gym. On Jason's skin. Drenched in the memory of who I became when I was with him. Eventually the cracks showed. Eric noticed. The way I pulled away from his touch. The distant look in my eyes. One night he confronted me. Is there someone else? I denied it. Told him he was imagining things. But deep down we both knew the truth. And though he never pressed further, the damage had been done. The trust had eroded. Jason and I never made plans. We didn't speak of the future. He wasn't the kind to dream about forever. What we had burned hot and fast. And I think we both knew it was doomed from the start. One day I walked into the gym, ready for another session, and he looked at me differently. Said we couldn't keep doing this. That it wasn't fair to Eric. That I needed to figure out what I truly wanted. I left without a word, eyes brimming with tears. Not because I lost him, but because somewhere along the way I'd lost myself. I'd become so desperate to feel something, anything, that I betrayed everything I believed in. Months have passed. Eric and I are still together trying to rebuild. I never told him. But I'm sure he knows. There's a heaviness in our home now. A quiet grief for what we once were. I don't know if we'll make it. I don't know if I even deserve to. All I know is this: I asked for strength. For fire. For something to awaken me. And in chasing it, I found a version of myself I can never unknow. A version that went too far.